downtown Detroit. Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Good Wednesday afternoon as we get over the hump this week. I'm tracking 50s. I'm also tracking when winter finally returns.
Plus a shakeup for Habitat for Humanity Detroit as the organization announces some pretty big changes. But first, the country's 41st president, George H.W. Bush, is hospitalized in Houston. The former president was hospitalized after experiencing shortness of breath. The 92-year-old is now being monitored just as a precaution. Anusha Rasta joins us from Houston Methodist Hospital with the latest on his condition.
Our nation's 41st president resting comfortably in a Houston hospital after experiencing a shortness of breath. Overnight, his office chief of staff saying he's in stable condition and, quote, doing fine. President Bush, now 92 years old, needs a wheelchair to get around, and his public appearances have become increasingly rare over the last several years. His most recent, 11 days ago, appearing alongside family at a Houston Texans playoff game. Earlier this month, the family spokesperson told NBC News the 41st president and his wife Barbara, now 91, would not be attending Friday's inauguration, citing their advanced ages and, quote, all that entails. The couple, who just celebrated their 72nd wedding anniversary, also did not attend President Obama's inauguration in 2013. This latest hospital stay marks the 5th in the past 5 years. Doctors here at Houston Methodist Hospital say Mr. Bush is responding well to treatment. They hope to have him released from the hospital soon, but at this point, we don't know exactly when that will be. Back to you.
Well, we do wish him well. Switching gears now to the forecast and here at home. Temperatures are warming up as we get closer and closer to the weekend. Brandon, we're hoping that we're going to get a little warmer this afternoon.
Well, and we won't get a whole lot warmer today. The big variable, the big missing piece to the puzzle, the big yellow orb, the sun just struggling to get through these clouds. So tomorrow looks a lot warmer. We have 37 right now still in Pontiac and Lapeer, and compared to average, those numbers aren't too bad, but they're right where we started the day. We just haven't budged much. 40 degrees at Metro Airport, 37 Harrow, Ontario. It's 38 in Monroe right now. And we're going to stick with the clouds here over the next several hours, perhaps thinning enough for a hint of some sun around 4 o'clock. 41 degrees, very close to where we're at now. West-southwest winds 6 to 12, and so feels a little bit cooler. You'll certainly need a light jacket as you're heading out and about, but not real brutally cold. You see the clouds just pretty much got us all over the entire state. So that'll be the case today. Tonight, we're going to try to clear things out. That will lead to some fog. We'll talk more about that. Welcoming back the sun and flirting with 50 several times coming up.
All righty, Brandon, we'll check back in with you in just a little bit. Habitat for Humanity Detroit is laying off some staff members and closing its 2 Restore locations here in the city. Local 4's Nick Monticelli is joining us live now on Detroit's east side with more on this story. And Nick, do we know the reason why they're making such drastic changes?
It basically comes down to revenue, Evrod. They just don't have enough money coming in. There's also some delinquency issues with some of the mortgages. This is the store off of Mack and Cadju. The doors are now locked. This information came yesterday that all this was going to change, but their location is one problem. As I mentioned, delinquency on mortgages is another. So we can give you the basic rundown. This is one store on Mack Avenue. The other one is over on Greenfield on the west side of Detroit. Now, the homeowners that they help, that's the other problem. They get a great deal on their homes, but they still have to pay mortgages. Those payments to Habitat at one point were 40% delinquent. The current number is closer to 27%, but there's also been a loss of grants and a loss of donations. Again, there's also been poor sales at the retail stores. This one here on Mack, the other one on Greenfield on the west side. Here they sold home improvement tools for furnishings or even appliances inside, all at deep discounts, but it wasn't enough. Even though last year's sales did pick up, the workers here have been laid off, and we're told the operations staff at the Operations Center for Habitat of Detroit is down to core staffing. The executive director says he did not want to do this, but he didn't really have a choice.
It's a tough decision. It's nothing you ever want to do. You don't want to send people home under circumstances like that. But the reality is, in some cases, if you don't make a decision like this, everybody goes home and then it's over. And that's what we're trying to avoid.
Now, we have been here for about 3 hours now, and there has been a decent flow of people coming in here, stopping, trying to get inside, then realizing that they're closed, and then we have to tell them what's going on. We'll talk about these stores, we'll talk about those mortgages and how those delinquencies could happen later on Local 4 News at 5. We're live on Detroit's East Side. Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
Nick, we know that Habitat for Humanity Detroit helps out a lot of people here in the city. I personally have witnessed them building homes for people in need. Yep. Let's talk about sponsorship, financial donations to the organization. How can we help them now?
Well, what it boils down to, Evrod, is that as you saw, there was a loss of grants and a loss of donations. So they still need desperately big corporate sponsors, people like Home Depot or Lowe's, to give them in-kind donations because they still want to keep operations running, their core running, that business of getting people into homes that they normally couldn't afford or couldn't qualify for a mortgage. They did say, though, that their core business model is going to shift. Instead of building new homes, they're going to focus on rehabbing homes, especially in the city of Detroit, where you've got 50% vacant homes. Yeah. They're saying it doesn't make sense to build a new one. We've got a bunch of other ones that can be built again.
Hopefully that'll help, and we have a lot of good corporations here, big corporations in Detroit. Hopefully some of them will step up and help because Habitat for Humanity does so much. Nick, thank you. Yeah. In Macomb County now, a man is behind bars facing felony charges after his 14th, yes, his 14th drunk driving arrest. He's 54-year-old Zanan Bayalakour, and he's being held on a $50,000 bond. Last Friday, a sheriff's deputy stopped him after he ran a red light in Mount Clemens and was quickly arrested for operating a car while intoxicated. Police quickly learned that he had been driving under a suspended license and had 13 previous drunk driving convictions. Bayalakour is due back in court a little bit later this month. This afternoon, teachers, parents, and community leaders are hosting a rally at Pontiac High School as the school fights to stay open. It was 3 years ago the Pontiac School District made an agreement with the state to improve its financial and academic performance. Since then, the school has made some improvements, but it's still at risk of being closed. Now the school is hosting a rally to try and show the state how Pontiac has improved and how the school needs to be given more time. Well, this afternoon, Detroit police needs your help to find a missing man. His name is Edward Long, and he is seen pictured here. It's a little blurry, but hopefully you might recognize him because he's been missing since Monday and does need his medication. The 46-year-old was last seen leaving a store in the area of Hayes and Houston Whittier streets on the city's east side, and unfortunately hasn't been seen or heard from since. Long was last seen wearing a black coat with a black fur hood. If you have seen him or if you know where he could be, please give police a call. President Barack Obama is scheduled to give his final news conference this afternoon at the White House. His decision to shorten the sentence of convicted leaker Chelsea Manning is among some of the topics that are expected to be addressed. You can, of course, watch the president's news conference that's scheduled for 2:15 right here on Local 4. We'll also have it streaming for you live on our website. Just go to clickondetroit.com for that. Well, the Meridian Winter Blast returns to Campus Martius this weekend, in fact. It's the 13th annual Winter Blast, we should point out, and it's going to feature plenty of winter activities, a lot of live entertainment, delicious local restaurants, and even a giant slide. If you recognize that guy right there, that's our very own Jason Carr, who got to go down the slide. It looks a little bit different this morning, but he got to test it out, and he gives us quite the view. Take a look.
All right, here we go. Whoa! Oh my God! I almost swallowed my gum. You were kidding.
No, they weren't kidding. And it looks a little different this year, but it's still a lot of fun. Along with the slide, you'll be also able to enjoy some free ice skating, marshmallow roasting, a zip line as well. All that fun starts Friday at 4 p.m. So you definitely want to stop by Campus Martius and check it all out. Make sure you bring the whole family. It's fun for the entire crew. Still ahead here on Local 4 News at noon, a group of hikers get lost after taking a shortcut on a California mountain. We'll tell you how crews finally found them after heavy fog swept through the area. And the woman accused of posing as a nurse and kidnapping a newborn 18 years ago appears in court. We'll tell you the charges she's now facing and why it's unlikely that this case will ever go to trial. But first, a massive manhunt to find an alleged cop killer is over in Florida. And police finally found the accused killer. And we'll tell you what they did, what the officers did when he was arrested.
So, of course, it's not unusual for medical students to learn how to do surgical procedures, right? But take a look. These are high school students. This is something called middle college, and it's something that even your child can get involved with. We're talking about having a degree by the time they get out of high school and possibly having an interest in medical sciences. That's the story we're working on today at 4 on First at 4.
Our client.
We want to get you updated on breaking news that just came into the Local 4 newsroom. The Jewish Community Center of Metro Detroit in West Bloomfield, right there on Maple in between Drake and Haggerty, has been evacuated after a person called in a bomb threat. Right now, we know that West Bloomfield police and security staff are combing through the building. We do have a Local 4 News crew on the way to the scene there. We'll bring you more information as it becomes available here on the air and on our website, clickondetroit.com. In other news, the man accused of killing a Florida police officer is now locked up after being on the run for more than a week. Orlando police led a bloodied and bandaged Markeith Lloyd into their cruiser last night. The accused cop killer got hurt in some sort of fight with police while they were trying to arrest him. He was found in an abandoned house wearing body armor and holding 2 guns, one that had been modified to carry 100 rounds of ammunition. They say that he did drop the guns but resisted arrest. Police were able to take him into custody, handcuffing him using Lieutenant Deborah Clayton's handcuffs. She is the officer that he's accused of killing.
Many of the officers that I spoke to tonight actually broke down in tears.
Very emotional for that department, as you can imagine. Orlando police say that they're still looking into whether or not anyone helped Lloyd while he was on the run. The woman accused of posing as a nurse and kidnapping a newborn baby 18 years ago appeared in court for the first time this morning. She's 51-year-old Gloria Williams, and she was arrested last Tuesday in South Carolina. Today, she appeared in court, again, for the first time, where she was ordered to be held without bond. Williams will appear in court next February 8th, and that's when she's expected to enter a plea deal. So there's a lot going on in our nation's capital today with the presidential inauguration just 2 days away. And then this morning, President-elect Donald Trump's nominee to head the Environmental Protection Agency, Scott Pruitt, took senators' questions at his confirmation hearing. Right now, Health and Human Services nominee Tom Price is taking questions, and you can, of course, watch this hearing if you'd like on our website, clickondetroit.com. In the meantime, as you can imagine, security will be tight for this inauguration on Friday. Nearly 100 demonstrators are planned for this week in Washington. But we do want to let you know, with the millions of people that are expected to attend, our very own Kimberly Gill will be there as well to provide live coverage of the presidential inauguration live from Washington, D.C. for us. That will start on Friday, of course, here on Local 4. In California now, 2 groups of hikers rescued from a mountain in the same day after they both took a wrong turn on a trail. This happened Saturday afternoon on Green Mountain in Santa Barbara. Sheriff's deputies got a call from a couple after they took what they thought was a shortcut on the mountain. While searching for them, they got a call from a different couple who had also gotten lost after taking a wrong turn off the trail. Police used a combination of GPS to track the couple's cell phones, and what you're looking at is night vision equipment. But definitely want to stay on the trail if you plan on going there. Don't want to get lost.
New at noon.
A new study finds more passengers are getting to their destination on time. Find out what airlines are among the most reliable in the country. And Brandon, we're tracking, what, 50s?
Could be a few of them in the next week or so. Never a shortage of things to talk about, a rare winter warm-up, and we will track the return of winter soon. We'll have it all for you next.
It started with a bump on the head that led to a devastating diagnosis. Now little Steven is in the fight of his life, but he's far from alone.
He has a chance to make it because of these wonderful, amazing people who are selfless and who are just giving 20 minutes of their day.
I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. Tonight at 11, the force that's keeping Steven strong and how you can be a part of it.
After my car.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I don't know what Mother Nature is thinking these days, especially because we are supposed to be in winter, and one day it feels like it, right? The other day it's like, it's kind of spring-like, and then the next day we'll get like freezing rain and the whole roads will ice over.
She just can't get it right, though. When we get really cold stuff, I'd like to get a big dumping of snow. Haven't gotten that.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Well, you know, if we're going to warm up, I'd like a little sunshine, too, but we're not getting that either, Mother Nature. The list of complaints, she has one of those boxes, you know, and you just drop the complaint in there and it's filling up. All right, we have a lot to look forward to. Some clearing later tonight. It's going to be a cool one, but not bitter cold around here. But the clearing and still enough residual moisture here at the surface. Going to be a foggy start to your Thursday, but through the afternoon, sunshine. Welcome back. Remember what the yellow orb thing is? It's going to really make a difference in our temperatures tomorrow. And flirting with 50 degrees both Saturday and Sunday. How about that? We are currently at 40 degrees. And again, if we had a little bit of sunshine, we'd probably see 45, no problem, and just much more pleasant. But southwest wind at about 13 keeps that feels like number closer to freezing. Manageable, but a little nip in the air. Only going to move up a degree or two. If we can get a 3 or 4 o'clock breakage in these clouds, maybe we could bump it up a degree or 3, but that's about it. I think it's mostly cloudy most of the rest of the day. That fog forming tonight and overnight. So just a warning, anybody who's going to be doing a little late night and overnight driving, especially in rural areas, could get a little soupy during the early hours of your Thursday. Here's a satellite picture. This is just the visible satellite, which means we need daylight as these satellites fly over the earth. They're just snapping pictures, and it shows that blanket of clouds over the entire state. This map, very important because it shows low pressure. If you follow our weather delivery here, you know low pressure usually associated with stormy or bad weather, and that's moved out. High pressure usually a good thing, but high pressure forces in the upper atmosphere pushing down. That is trapping some of the low clouds around here, and that's kind of what we're into today. But we will get into some sun tomorrow thanks to high pressure, and that rain Friday morning, that's the next chance we have of it. But how about that sun tomorrow, getting us into the upper 40s? Could be a 50-degree day tomorrow for some of you. Some morning showers on Friday, that should be about it, and then 50-ish Saturday and Sunday. Watch for a spotty shower or two on Sunday, all liquid. More or better chance on Monday. And Everett, I'll tell you, the models are showing by Thursday next week, welcome back winter.
Alrighty, Brandon, thank you. Right now we want to get to a Help Me Hank consumer alert for you this afternoon. More and more airline flights are arriving on time. So some good news there. The Department of Transportation says that 86% of domestic flights arrived on time in the month of November. That's an improvement from last year. Hawaiian and Delta Airlines were the most reliable in terms of on-time flights. The department is also happy to report that lost luggage is at its lowest rate in 30 years. So to come here at noon, it's a very unique tradition at the rodeo. Have you heard of it? Up next, the event that allows children just 5 and 6 years old to get in on all the action.
Replay.
All right, finally this afternoon, our producer, Chris Page, has never heard of this. Maybe you haven't. Both of us haven't. It's awesome. An adorable rodeo featuring some pint-sized cowboys and some sheep. Take a look.
Sheep are the important part. It's an honored tradition called mutton busting. Close to 50 little kids saddle up and hold on tight to a sprinting sheep, and whoever holds on the longest wins.
We have nothing else to add to that because it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed that. See you tomorrow.